If you wake up tomorrow and do this for just 7 minutes, your relationship with money will change forever. Louise Hay discovered that millionaires do something very specific in the first moments of their day, and it's not what you think. Why do some people attract money like a magnet, while others work hard their whole lives and still struggle? Why do you know people who seem born for prosperity, while you strive so hard and the results don't come? Let me tell you a true story. A woman named Emily was broke at 42, divorced man with 2 kids, working 3 different jobs. She woke up at 5 in the morning, slept at 11 at night, and still the bills didn't add up, until she discovered what Louise Hay called morning abundance programming. In less than a month, Emily received an unexpected promotion. In 3 months, a business opportunity she wasn't even looking for appeared in her life. In 6 months, she was earning more than she had in the last 5 years combined. What did Emily do? The same thing Louise Hay taught people who wanted to completely reprogram their financial energy. Louise Hay wasn't a guru from birth. She was abused in childhood, dropped out of school, went through toxic relationships, and reached 40 without a penny. But she discovered something that changed everything. She realized that our minds work like a radio, and most people are tuned into the frequency of scarcity from the moment they wake up. Have you ever noticed how you wake up? Probably the first thing that comes to your mind is worry, the bills, the problems, what's missing. Louise said that the first 15 minutes of your day determine your energetic vibration for the next 16 hours. If you start thinking about lack, you will attract lack. If you start thinking about abundance, you will magnetize abundance. But here's the secret she discovered studying prosperous people. It's not just about positive thinking. That's too superficial. It's about reprogramming what she called the inner financial code. It's about changing the beliefs that are buried in your subconscious since childhood. Let me ask you an honest question. When you were a child, what did you hear about money at home? Money doesn't grow on trees. The rich get richer by exploiting the poor. Money doesn't buy happiness. We weren't born for this. Louise discovered that these phrases are engraved in our subconscious as absolute truths, and our subconscious doesn't question, it just obeys. That's why you can work 16 hours a day and still feel like you're rowing against the tide, because deep down in a part of you that you don't even notice, there's an old program saying you don't deserve prosperity, that money is dirty, that good people don't get rich, that you have to suffer to achieve something. Louise Hay called this the scarcity code, and she realized that the only way to change this code was to reprogram our minds in the first moments of the day, when our consciousness is still malleable, before the rational mind takes control. The millionaires she studied had one thing in common. They didn't start their day checking their phones, watching the news, immediately entering the energy of urgency and stress. They started their day talking to their own subconscious, planting seeds of abundance before the weeds of worry began to sprout. But relax. It's not about vague visualization or repeating empty phrases. Louise discovered that there's a specific technique, a morning ritual she called neurological programming of prosperity. And when she started teaching this, people reported amazing changes in a matter of days. Why does it work so fast? Because when you wake up, your brain is in alpha waves. It's the same state as hypnosis. Anything you put in your mind at this moment goes straight to the subconscious, without going through critical analysis. It's like you have direct access to the hard drive of your mental computer. Louise said, the first thoughts of the day are like seeds. If you plant flowers, you grow a garden. If you plant thorns, you grow suffering. And most people wake up planting thorns without realizing it. Do you know what the first thing most people do when they wake up is? They grab their phone, they see the bad news, they check social media and compare themselves to other people. They think about the day's rush and they already start the day in survival mode, in an energy of lack, of haste, of anxiety. Now imagine waking up in a completely different way. Imagine waking up and in the first minutes of the day, you program your mind for prosperity. You align your energy with abundance. You activate the frequency of wealth in your subconscious. How do you think the rest of your day would be different? Louise Hay tested this in her own life. She had cancer, no money, no perspective. And using this morning technique, she not only healed herself, but built a publishing empire that grossed millions a year. Her book, You Can Heal Your Life, sold over 50 million copies. She created Hay House, one of the largest personal development publishers in the world. But what impresses me most about Louise's story is not the financial success. It's that she proved that anyone can completely reprogram their reality, starting in the morning. The ritual she created is simple but specific. It takes no more than 7 minutes. And the magic happens because you're working with 3 elements at the same time: word, emotion, and intention. Louise called this the manifestation triad. But let me tell you what happens when you don't do this. When you wake up and already enter the energy of lack, your mind starts looking for evidence that money is hard, that you're unlucky, that things never work out for you. And guess what happens? You find exactly what you're looking for. If you wake up thinking, "Oh my God, how am I going to pay this bill?" your brain will focus on all the financial problems of the day. If you wake up thinking, "Nothing works in my life," you'll notice everything that isn't working. It's not pessimism, it's neuroscience. Our minds look for evidence to confirm our beliefs. Louise discovered that if you wake up programming prosperity, your brain will start noticing opportunities. It will notice possibilities that went unnoticed before. It will attract people and situations that are aligned with abundance. And look how interesting this is. Louise said that money is energy in motion, and energy responds to vibration. If you vibrate scarcity, you attract scarcity. If you vibrate abundance, you magnetize abundance. Does it seem too esoteric? So let me explain this in a more scientific way. When you're in a scarcity mindset, your body produces cortisol, the stress hormone. Excess cortisol leaves you anxious, fearful, making poor decisions, missing opportunities because you're in survival mode. But when you're in an abundance mindset, your body produces serotonin and dopamine. You become more creative, more confident, more receptive, more charismatic. People want to be around you. Opportunities flow. Louise Hay always said, "You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are." And what you are in the morning determines what you'll be for the entire day. Now, the specific ritual she created works with something she called embodied affirmation. It's not just repeating words, it's feeling the words in your body. It's making your nervous system believe that prosperity is already real in your life. Why do most affirmations fail? Because people say, "I am rich," while their bodies are tense with worry. They say, "Money flows to me easily," while their stomachs are clenched with anxiety. The subconscious isn't stupid. It perceives the incongruence. Louise created a technique where you align words, breath, posture, and emotion, where your entire body enters the frequency of abundance. And when that happens, the change is almost immediate. But there's an important detail. Louise always warned, don't do this if you're not ready to receive. Why? Because when you really reprogram your financial energy, opportunities start to appear. And if you're not prepared to act, to step outside your comfort zone, to seize the chances that will arise, you might waste unique moments. Now, I'm going to teach you exactly what Louise Hay did and taught. The complete ritual she called the Morning Prosperity Code. Pay attention because every detail matters. First, you need to understand that Louise discovered something revolutionary. She realized that our brain has a programming window that lasts exactly 17 minutes after waking up. During those 17 minutes, our subconscious mind is completely receptive. It's like a child waiting for instructions. Her technique works in 3 phases. Louise called them awaken, align, and activate. Each phase has a specific purpose and an exact duration. Phase 1, awaken, duration 2 minutes. The moment you open your eyes, even before you get out of bed, you place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your abdomen. Louise said this position connects your emotional center with your personal power center. You take 3 deep breaths and mentally say, I'm grateful for another day of infinite possibilities. Why gratitude first thing in the morning? Louise discovered that gratitude is the highest frequency there is. When you start your day with gratitude, you automatically align your energy with abundance. It's no coincidence that prosperous people are grateful people. But here's the secret that most people don't know. You don't give thanks for what you already have. You give thanks for what is coming. Louise taught, give thanks as if you've already received. Because when you thank in advance, you're telling the universe that you are certain that abundance is inevitable in your life. Still lying down, you visualize a golden light entering the top of your head and filling your entire body. Louise said that gold is the color of prosperity on an energetic level. You imagine this golden light dissolving any scarcity energy, any worries, any fears related to money. Phase 2, align. Duration, 3 minutes. Now you get up and go to a mirror. It can be the bathroom mirror. You look into your own eyes and begin what Louise called the declaration of worthiness. This is the most powerful part of the entire ritual. You look deep into your eyes and say, I deserve prosperity. I deserve abundance. I deserve life to be easy and generous to me. Louise always emphasized, say it as if it's true. Speak with conviction. Speak as if you're reminding yourself of something that has always been real. Why in the mirror? Because when you speak while looking into your own eyes, you're speaking directly to your subconscious. You're reprogramming beliefs that have been there since childhood. Louise said, the mirror doesn't lie. If you can't say you deserve abundance looking at yourself, how will you convince the universe of it? Many people cry the first time they do this, because they realize they've never given themselves permission to prosper. They've never felt worthy of an easy life. Louise always said, crying is part of healing. Let the tears wash away the old beliefs. After the declaration of worthiness, still in front of the mirror, you place both hands on your heart and say the affirmation that changed Louise's own life. I release all old beliefs about money. I open my heart to receive abundance in unexpected and wonderful ways. I am a magnet for prosperous opportunities. Louise created this specific affirmation after studying how our minds process change. First, you release the old. Then you open yourself to the new. And finally, you declare yourself a magnet. Because a magnet doesn't chase, a magnet naturally attracts. Phase 3, activate. Duration, 2 minutes. This is the final phase where you energetically activate everything you've programmed. You sit on the edge of the bed, close your eyes, and do what Louise called abundance breathing. You inhale counting to 4, hold your breath counting to 4, and exhale counting to 8. Why this specific ratio? Louise discovered that when you exhale double the time you inhale, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system. This puts your body in a state of receptivity, openness, and trust. During this breathing, you mentally repeat, money flows to me with ease and joy. Money flows to me with ease and joy. Louise always emphasized the words ease and joy, because most people associate money with effort and suffering. You need to reprogram this association. You do this breathing for exactly 2 minutes, and you finish by placing both hands in prayer at chest level and saying, and so it is, and so it is done. Gratitude. That's it. 7 minutes that can change your financial life forever. But Louise always warned, the magic isn't in the technique. The magic is in the consistency. You need to do this every day for at least 21 days to create a new neurological programming. And here's an incredible discovery. Louise followed thousands of people who did this ritual religiously, and she noticed a pattern. On the 3rd day, the person started to feel different, more confident, more optimistic, more open. On the 7th day, small synchronicities started happening. Someone offered an opportunity. Unexpected money appeared. A lucrative idea sprang from nowhere. By the 14th day, more significant changes. A promotion at work, a new client, the resolution of a long-standing financial problem. And by the 21st day, this person was living at a completely different frequency, more prosperous, more abundant, more magnetic to opportunities. But there's an additional secret that Louise only shared with her most dedicated students. During the day, whenever you caught yourself thinking about lack, scarcity, or difficulty, you paused, took a deep breath, and mentally said, cancelled. I choose abundance. Louise called this the financial reset button because it's no use programming abundance in the morning and then spending the rest of the day in scarcity energy. You need to monitor your thoughts and redirect them whenever necessary. Let me tell you another true story. A businessman named Richard was almost bankrupt. His company had debts of over $200,000. He started doing Louise's ritual religiously. On the 5th day, an old client who owed him money for 2 years showed up to pay the debt. On the 10th day, he had an idea for a new product that no one else was offering in the market. On the 20th day, this product was already selling so well that he managed to pay off more than half of his debts. In 3 months, the company was profitable again. Richard always says, it wasn't magic. It was a change of frequency. When I changed my inner energy, my outer reality changed too. And that's the genius of Louise's method. She understood that abundance is not luck. Abundance is vibration, and vibration can be programmed, especially in the first moments of the day, when our minds are most receptive. Louise also discovered something fascinating about timing. She realized that if you do this ritual between 5 and 7 in the morning, the effect is even more powerful. Why? Because this is the time that the ancients called the golden hour, when the veil between the physical and energetic worlds is thinner. But even if you can't wake up at that time, the important thing is consistency. Louise always said, it's better to do it every day at the time you can than to do it sporadically at the ideal time. And there's a variation of the ritual for those who want even faster results. Louise called it the nightly abundance decree. Before going to sleep, you mentally repeat 3 times, "While I sleep, my subconscious attracts prosperous opportunities into my life." Why does this work? Because during sleep, especially in the first 2 hours, our subconscious processes and organizes information. If you program prosperity before sleep, your mind works all night to find ways to materialize abundance. Louise tested this technique with a group of 100 people for 6 months. 92 people reported significant improvements in their financial situation. Of these, 47 had changes that they classified as miraculous. But Louise was always honest. This is not instant magic. It's deep reprogramming. And reprogramming takes time and dedication. She compared it to the gym. You don't get in shape by exercising once a week. You need consistency. And here's a discovery that changed my own view on prosperity. Louise realized that prosperous people have a different relationship with time. They don't live in the desperate hurry of those who are in scarcity. They trust in life's timing. They know that when you're at the right frequency, things flow naturally. That's why her ritual includes moments of pause, of breathing, of inner connection. Because true abundance comes from a place of peace and trust, not despair and anxiety. Louise also taught something revolutionary about receiving. She said, most people ask for abundance, but they don't know how to receive abundance. And she created a simple exercise to train the ability to receive. During the day, whenever someone offered you something, even if it was small, you accepted graciously and said, thank you, with genuine gratitude. A cup of coffee, a compliment, a little help. You practice receiving with joy, not guilt or discomfort. Why does this matter? Because if you can't receive small things calmly, how will you be able to receive great opportunities? Louise said, the universe is always testing your ability to receive through small gifts. If you reject the small ones, you don't receive the big ones. And there's another powerful technique that Louise taught. She called it financial energy cleansing. Once a week, you did a specific meditation to release all negative emotions related to money. You sat comfortably, closed your eyes, and brought to mind all the situations that caused you financial anxiety, the bills, the debts, the fears. And then you imagined a violet light enveloping each of these situations and transmuting the heavy energy into light energy. Louise said that violet is the color of transmutation, and that when you regularly cleanse your financial energy, you prevent blockages from accumulating. The transformation that this ritual can bring to your life goes far beyond money, because when you reprogram yourself for abundance, you change your energetic frequency as a whole. You become more confident, more optimistic, more charismatic. People start to see you differently. Opportunities that you didn't even notice before begin to appear clearly. Louise always said, you're not asking the universe to give you something that isn't yours. You're simply reminding the universe who you really are, an infinitely prosperous being, temporarily forgetting their own abundance. And this is perhaps the most powerful revelation of all of Louise's teachings. Abundance is not something you achieve. Abundance is something you remember. It's not something that comes from outside. It's something that awakens from within. When you do this ritual consistently, you're not trying to become prosperous. You're removing the layers of limiting programming that were hiding your natural prosperity. Louise used to say, every child is born feeling deserving of love and abundance. It was we who learned to feel small. The morning ritual is simply a way back home, a return to your original truth. And if you've come this far, if you've watched this entire video, it wasn't a coincidence. Louise always said that when someone is ready to transform their financial reality, the universe conspires to bring the right information at the right time. Your financial life can completely change in the next 7 days, but it depends on you. It depends on your willingness to wake up 7 minutes earlier and reprogram your energy before the outside world grabs your attention. Louise Hay transformed her life and the lives of millions with this simple yet profound wisdom. She proved that anyone, regardless of their background, age, or current situation, can completely reprogram their financial reality. As she always said, the past has no power over you. What does have power is what you choose to think and feel in this moment. And each morning is a new opportunity to choose abundance. If this content touched your heart, if you felt something awaken within you, subscribe to the channel, because this encounter wasn't accidental. There's so much more of Louise Hay's wisdom waiting to transform every area of your life. Remember, your prosperity isn't luck, it's vibration. And vibration is choice. Consciously choose. Choose abundance. Choose to start tomorrow